Captain Jake Morrison walked across the bridge of the Earth defense ship Liberty. The metal floor made soft sounds under his boots. 3 years had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council. 3 years of working with alien races to keep peace in the galaxy. 3 years of believing they were partners. Jake looked at the main screen showing the stars outside. Earth ships patrolled 17 different star systems now. Human soldiers fought in wars they did not start. Human engineers fixed problems on alien worlds. Human doctors saved lives across the galaxy. Everyone said humans were good at solving problems that others could not fix. Danny Walsh sat at the communications desk. He was young, maybe 25 years old. His job was to listen to radio messages from other ships and planets. Today he looked worried. His face was pale and his hands shook a little. "Captain Morrison, sir," Danny said. His voice was quiet. "I picked up something strange on the emergency frequency." Jake walked over to Danny's station. The communication officer had been listening to council messages for 2 years. He knew the difference between normal talk and something important. "What did you hear?" Jake asked. Danny pressed a button. Sound came from the speakers. 2 alien voices were talking. Jake recognized the language. It was the main council language that all members had to learn. "The humans have served their purpose well," said the first voice. "Their aggressive nature makes them perfect soldiers for the dirty work." "Yes," said the second voice. "They fight hard and ask few questions. But the time for keeping them alive grows short." Jake felt his stomach drop. He listened more carefully. "The war with the Hegemony Coalition will begin soon," the first voice continued. "We will use the humans as shock troops in the first attacks. Most of them will die. The survivors will be easy to eliminate afterward." "And their homeworld?" asked the second voice. "Earth will be destroyed completely. We cannot risk leaving any humans alive. They are too dangerous to exist once they learn the truth." The message ended. The bridge became very quiet. Jake could hear his own heart beating. Danny stared at the communication panel with wide eyes. "Sir," Danny whispered. "What does this mean?" Jake did not answer right away. His mind was racing. For 3 years, humans had trusted the Council. Earth had sent its best people to work with alien races. They had shared technology and military secrets. They had believed they were building a better future for everyone. "Get me Commander Ryan Hughes," Jake said. His voice sounded calm, but inside he felt sick. Ryan Hughes was Earth's military representative to the Council. He worked on the main Council station, dealing with alien leaders every day. If anyone could confirm this terrible news, it would be Ryan. The communication screen lit up. Ryan's face appeared. He was a big man with short gray hair and serious eyes. Behind him, Jake could see the inside of the Council station. "Jake," Ryan said. "Good to see you. What can I do for you?" "Ryan, I need you to check something for me. Can you access the classified Council databases?" Ryan's expression changed. "That depends on what you're looking for. My security clearance only goes so far." Jake looked around the bridge. Other crew members were watching and listening. "Danny, play the recording for Commander Hughes." The alien voices filled the bridge again. Jake watched Ryan's face as he listened. The commander's eyes grew dark. His jaw became tight. When the recording finished, Ryan was quiet for a long moment. "I'll check the databases right now," Ryan said. "Give me 30 minutes." The screen went dark. Jake turned to face his crew. They all looked confused and scared. "Sir," said Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, the ship's weapons officer, "is this real? Are they really planning to kill us all?" Jake did not know what to say. Part of him hoped it was a mistake or a lie. But Danny had been listening to Council communications for years. He knew real messages from fake ones. 30 minutes felt like 30 hours. When Ryan called back, his face was grim. "Jake, it's worse than we thought," Ryan said. "I found files going back 5 years. The Council never planned to keep humans as permanent members. We were always meant to be temporary workers." "What kind of workers?" Jake asked. "The kind that died doing jobs too dangerous for Council races. They've been planning this from the beginning." Every peace treaty we helped make was designed to fail. Every war we fought was meant to weaken both sides. Jake felt anger building in his chest. What about Ambassador Carter? Does she know? Lisa is in trouble, Ryan said. She discovered some of this information yesterday. She tried to confront the council leadership. They arrested her this morning on charges of treason. The bridge crew gasped. Ambassador Lisa Carter had been Earth's voice in the council for 3 years. She was smart, honest, and had worked hard to build good relationships with alien leaders. Where is she now? Jake asked. Council security prison on Kepler Station. Maximum security level. They're planning to execute her tomorrow as an example to other humans. Jake closed his hands into fists. The council had betrayed humanity completely. They had used human lives to fight their wars. They had planned to murder every person on Earth. And now they were going to kill the one person who had tried to stop them. Ryan, get back to Earth immediately, Jake ordered. Tell Admiral Sullivan everything we know. We need to evacuate all humans from council space before they can kill us. What about you? Ryan asked. Jake looked at his crew. They were scared, but ready to follow orders. These were good people who had risked their lives for the council. They deserved to know the truth and have a chance to survive. We're going to rescue Ambassador Carter, Jake said. And then we're going to make sure every human in the galaxy knows what the council really thinks of us. The communication ended. Jake turned to face his crew. You heard everything, he said. The Galactic Council has betrayed humanity. They plan to kill us all. We can run, or we can fight. But first, we save our people. The crew nodded. Fear was still in their eyes, but now Jake saw something else. Anger. Determination. The same fighting spirit that had helped humans survive on Earth for thousands of years. Danny, send an emergency message to all human ships and stations. Jake ordered. Use the old Earth military codes. Tell them the Council has betrayed us and to prepare for immediate evacuation. Sarah, prepare all weapon systems. We're going into hostile territory. Everyone else, prepare for battle. The Council thinks we're just tools they can throw away. Let's show them what humans really are. Dr. Nathan Brooks stared at the data screens in his makeshift laboratory aboard the refugee ship New Hope. The ship had once been a cargo vessel, but now it carried 3,000 humans fleeing for their lives. Nathan had converted the main cargo hold into a research center, where he studied the Council's hunting methods. They are getting closer, Nathan said to his assistant, Dr. Amy Clark. The Council ships are following our hyperspace trails like bloodhounds. Amy looked at the tracking data. Red dots showed Council pursuit fleets moving through space. The dots were getting bigger, which meant the enemy ships were getting closer to the human refugee groups. How are they tracking us so precisely? Amy asked. We changed our engine signatures and used different jump routes. Nathan pointed to a section of data on his screen. They are using quantum resonance scanners. Every time our ships jump through hyperspace, we leave tiny particles behind. The Council can follow these particles like footprints in the snow. The refugee fleet had been running for 2 weeks. They had split into 12 smaller groups, each taking different paths through unexplored space. The plan was to confuse the Council hunters, but it was not working well enough. Captain Jake Morrison commanded one of the smaller refugee groups from his ship Liberty. His group had 43 ships carrying nearly 50,000 people. Many were families with children who had never expected to become refugees. Captain, we have a problem, said Danny Walsh from the communications station. Long-range sensors are detecting Council ships 3 light-years behind us. They will catch up in 6 hours. Jake looked at the tactical display. His ships were not built for fighting. Most were cargo vessels and passenger ships with weak weapons and thin armor. The Council ships chasing them were military warships with powerful guns and strong shields. How many ships are following us? Jake asked. 12 Council warships, sir, including 2 heavy cruisers. Jake knew they could not win a direct fight. They needed to find a place to hide or a way to lose the pursuit ships. On another refugee ship, Agent Kelly Price worked alone in a small room filled with computer equipment. She had been a spy for the Council Intelligence Service before the Tiaub betrayal was discovered. Now she used her knowledge to help humanity survive. Kelly had been studying Council communication patterns for days. She discovered something important. The Council was having problems with their member species. Many alien races were asking questions about the extreme actions against humanity. "This is interesting," Kelly said to herself as she read an intercepted message. "The Zentari Federation is refusing to help hunt humans. They think the Council is being too harsh." Kelly found more messages showing that several Council member species were uncomfortable with the genocide plan. Some were even secretly helping human refugees by providing fuel and supplies. But Kelly also discovered bad news. The Council had hired the Krath, a species known throughout the galaxy as the best hunters and trackers. The Krath could follow prey across vast distances and never gave up once they started hunting. Captain Morrison received Kelly's intelligence report while his ships were still running from the Council pursuit fleet. The news about the Krath made his situation much worse. "Sir, we need to find a place to hide," said Lieutenant Sarah Martinez. "We cannot keep running forever." Jake studied the star charts. Ahead of them was a region called the Stellar Graveyard. It was filled with the remains of dead stars, broken planets, and the wreckage of ancient civilizations. Most ships avoided the area because it was dangerous and unpredictable. "Set course for the Stellar Graveyard," Jake ordered. "Maybe we can lose them in there." "Sir, that area is full of radiation and debris fields. We could lose half our ships just trying to navigate through it. Better than losing all our ships to Council weapons," Jake replied. The refugee ships entered the Stellar Graveyard as the Council pursuit fleet was gaining on them. The space around them was filled with floating wreckage from civilizations that had died millions of years ago. Chief Engineer Maria Santos worked frantically to modify the ship's sensors. The normal navigation systems did not work well in the graveyard because of all the interference from dead stars and radiation fields. "I am reading massive structures ahead," Maria reported. "These are not natural formations. Someone built cities in space here." Jake looked at the main screen. Huge structures floated in the darkness, larger than anything humans had ever built. They were clearly artificial but appeared to be abandoned. "Are there any life signs?" Jake asked. "No, sir. But I am detecting advanced technology. Some of these structures still have power after all this time." Jake made a decision that would change everything. "Take us inside the largest structure. We will hide there until the Council ships pass by." The Liberty and its escort ships flew into what appeared to be a massive space station. The structure was so large that their entire refugee group could fit inside with room to spare. Inside the ancient station, Dr. Nathan Brooks made an amazing discovery. The walls were covered with writing and symbols that his computer could translate. The station had been built by a species called the Vorthak, who had fought against the Council's ancestors long ago. "Amy, look at this," Nathan said excitedly. "The Vorthak were fighting the same enemy we are fighting now. The Council has been conquering and destroying other species for thousands of years." Amy read the translated text on the wall. "It says here that the Vorthak developed weapons specifically designed to fight Council technology. They knew how to break through Council shields and disable their ships." Nathan and his team spent hours exploring the ancient station. They found weapon blueprints, tactical manuals, and most importantly, technology that could hide ships from Council sensors. Meanwhile, the Council pursuit fleet reached the edge of the Stellar Graveyard. The lead ship was commanded by a Krath hunter named Zexthor. He was known for never losing prey. "The human ships entered this area," Zexthor told his crew. "But I cannot track them inside. The radiation is too strong." The Council ship spent 2 days searching the graveyard but found no trace of the human refugees. The ancient station's technology was hiding them perfectly. While the Council ship searched, Maria Santos and her engineering team worked to install Vorthak technology into human ships. The ancient devices could make their ships invisible to Council sensors and boost their weapons' power. "This is incredible," Maria told Jake. "The Vorthak were fighting the same war we are fighting now. They lost, but they left us the tools we need to win." Jake watched his crew install the alien technology. For the first time since the betrayal, he felt hope. Humanity was no longer just running away. They were preparing to fight back. "Agent Kelly." Price intercepted more Council communications. The pursuit fleets were reporting that they had lost track of several human refugee groups. The council leadership was becoming angry and desperate. "They are bringing in more hunters," Kelly reported. "The council is offering huge rewards for information about human locations." But Kelly also had good news. More council member species were refusing to help hunt humans. Some were even providing secret assistance to human refugees. Dr. Nathan Brooks made his most important discovery in the deepest part of the ancient station. He found a complete record of the council's true history. The information showed that the council had destroyed hundreds of species over thousands of years, always using the same methods. "The council always pretends to be peaceful," Nathan explained to Jake. "They invite species to join them, use them as tools, then destroy them when they are no longer useful. We are not the first species to be betrayed like this." Jake looked at the historical records. The pattern was clear. The council would find a useful species, integrate them into council society, then eliminate them once they had served their purpose. It was a cycle of exploitation and genocide that had continued for millennia. "But we are different from the other species," Jake said. "We know what they are planning. We have their technology. And we have something they have never faced before." "What is that?" Nathan asked. "Human stubbornness. We do not give up, we do not surrender, and we do not forget." The council pursuit fleet finally gave up searching the stellar graveyard and moved on to hunt other refugee groups. But they had made a critical mistake. They had given humanity time to find weapons and allies from the past. As Jake's refugee group prepared to leave the ancient station, they were no longer the same frightened people who had entered. They had hope, they had weapons, and they had a plan. The hunt was about to become much more dangerous for the hunters. Lieutenant Commander Alex Turner stood on the bridge of the flagship Constitution. The largest human ship in space was now the center of the most dangerous mission in human history. 2 million humans lived and worked across 47 star systems. All of them needed to escape before the council could kill them. Alex looked at the tactical display showing human positions throughout council space. Red dots marked human ships and stations. Blue dots showed council military forces moving toward human locations. The blue dots were growing larger and moving faster every hour. "Sir, we have incoming messages from Sector 7, said Communications Officer Betty Ross. Her voice was tight with stress. "The council is telling human colonies that they need to report to processing centers for new security checks." Alex knew what processing centers really meant. Death camps. The council was not even trying to hide their plans anymore. "How many people are in Sector 7? Alex asked. 40,000 humans, sir. Mostly families with children." Alex felt his jaw clench. Children who had been born in space, who had never seen Earth. The council wanted to murder them all. "Send orders to Captain Green in Sector 7. Tell him to evacuate immediately. Do not report to any council facilities." Across the ship, Chief Engineer Maria Santos worked in the engine room with her team. They had been awake for 36 hours, straight modifying human ships for long space travel. The council had always controlled the fuel stations and repair facilities. They had made humans dependent on council help for everything. "We need more power to the engines," Maria told her assistant engineer Tom Brown. "These ships were never designed to run without council support." Tom wiped sweat from his face. "The fusion reactors are running at maximum capacity. If we push them harder, they might explode. Then we make them stronger," Maria said. "Use the emergency power cells from the cargo bay. Connect them directly to the main engines." It was dangerous work. One mistake could destroy the ship and kill everyone on board. But staying in council space meant certain death. On the other side of the galaxy, Captain Jake Morrison prepared for the most dangerous rescue mission of his career. Ambassador Lisa Carter was locked in the maximum security prison on Kepler Station. The station had heavy shields, powerful weapons, and thousands of council guards. "Sir, we have the station blueprints," said Lieutenant Sarah Martinez. "The prison is in the center of the station. We would need to fight through 12 levels of security to reach her." Jake studied the plans on his screen. Kepler Station was like a small city in space. It had shops, homes, offices, and military facilities. The prison was buried deep inside where enemies could never reach it. "What about the ventilation system?" Jake asked. "Too small for humans to crawl through. And they have sensors that would detect us immediately." Jake thought for a moment. The direct approach would not work. They needed a different plan. "What if we do not sneak in?" Jake said. "What if we make them bring her to us?" Sarah looked confused. "Sir, the council thinks we are running away like scared animals. They do not expect us to attack. We hit their communications center and make them think the station is under full assault. In the confusion, they will move prisoners to the emergency escape pods. It was a dangerous plan. 3 human ships against an entire military station. But it might be their only chance." Meanwhile, Colonel Steve Parker led the evacuation of the Outer Rim colonies. These settlements were the farthest from Earth, where families had built new homes among the stars. Many of the people here had lived in space for 10 years or more. "Colonel Parker, this is New Haven Colony," came a voice over the radio. "We have 800 people here, including 200 children. Our transport ships can only carry half that number." Steve looked at his tactical officer, Lieutenant Paul Adams. "How long until Council forces reach New Haven?" 6 hours, sir. Maybe less." Steve made a quick decision. "Tell New Haven to load the children and elderly first. My ships will provide escort. We will come back for the others. Sir, if we leave adults behind, the Council will capture them." "I know," Steve said quietly, "but we save who we can." The evacuation began across all human territories. Ships that were designed to carry cargo now packed in families with only the clothes on their backs. Military vessels that normally held weapons now carried crying babies and scared teenagers. Admiral Kate Sullivan commanded the entire operation from Earth's main space station. She had been a military leader for 20 years, but nothing had prepared her for this. The Council had overwhelming numbers and superior technology. Humanity's only advantage was that the Council did not expect them to fight back. "Admiral, we have a problem," said her aide, Commander James Lee. "Council forces are setting up blockades at all the major jump points. They are trying to trap our evacuation fleets." Kate looked at the strategic map. The Council was smart. They knew humans would try to escape through the main travel routes. But humans had been exploring space for 3 years. They knew about routes the Council had forgotten. "Order all fleets to use the secondary jump points," Kate said. "The ones through the asteroid fields and nebula clouds. Those routes are dangerous, Admiral. We could lose ships to natural hazards. Better to risk death from space rocks than guaranteed death from the Council." The escape began. Human ships jumped through dangerous space routes that no one had used in decades. Some ships were damaged by asteroids, others got lost in nebula clouds, but most made it through. Captain Morrison's rescue mission reached Kepler Station as the main evacuation was beginning. His 3 ships approached the massive station from different directions. "All ships, begin the attack," Jake ordered. "Target their communications arrays and sensor stations. Make as much noise as possible." Human weapons fired at the station's outer defenses. The Council guards were surprised by the sudden attack. Alarms began ringing throughout the station. Inside the prison, Council guards rushed to move important prisoners to safety. Ambassador Lisa Carter was dragged from her cell toward the escape pod bays. "The humans are attacking," one guard said, to another. "Command wants all prisoners moved to secure locations." Lisa saw her chance. As they moved through a corridor, she broke free from her guards and ran toward the escape pod bay. Emergency lights flashed red as the station's defenses fired back at the human ships. Jake watched the battle from his bridge. "Sarah, target their main power generator. If we can cut their power, their security systems will fail." The Liberty's main guns fired at the station's power core. Explosions lit up space as the station's lights began to flicker. In the confusion, Lisa reached an escape pod and launched it toward Jake's ship. The small pod flew through the battle, dodging weapons. "Fire from both sides." "Jake, this is Lisa," came her voice over the radio. "I am in escape pod 7. Get me out of here." The Liberty's tractor beam grabbed the escape pod and pulled it into the ship's cargo bay. Within minutes, Lisa was on the bridge, her prison clothes torn but her spirit unbroken. "Jake, we need to leave immediately," Lisa said. The Council has mobilized their entire military. They plan to hunt down every human ship in the galaxy. Jake nodded. All ships, mission complete. Jump to Rendezvous Point Alpha. The 3 human ships disappeared into hyperspace, leaving Kepler Station damaged but still standing. The rescue was complete, but the real challenge was just beginning. At the rendezvous point, Admiral Sullivan received reports from across the galaxy. Most humans had escaped Council space, but the cost was high. Dozens of ships had been lost. Thousands of people were missing. And now the entire Council military was hunting them. Admiral, said Commander Lee, we have successfully evacuated 80% of our people, but we have nowhere to go. The Council knows all the inhabited systems. Kate looked at the star charts. Beyond Council space lay the unknown regions, areas where no one had explored. It would be dangerous, but it was their only choice. Send orders to all human ships, Kate said. We go into the dark, find systems where the Council has never been. We disappear until we can figure out how to fight back. The greatest escape in human history was complete, but it was only the beginning of their struggle for survival. Commander Beth Taylor sat across the table from 3 alien leaders she had never seen before. The meeting was taking place on a neutral space station in the border region between Council space and the unknown territories. These aliens represented the Hegemony Coalition, the same group the Council had been preparing to fight. You say the Council betrayed your species, said General Crix, a tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms. Why should we trust humans when you worked for our enemies? Beth had prepared for this question. She placed a datapad on the table and activated it. The recording of the intercepted Council message played, revealing their plan to eliminate humanity after using them as expendable soldiers. We were tools just like you would have been, Beth said. The Council never intended to keep us as partners. They planned to use human soldiers to weaken your coalition, then kill us all to prevent future problems. The second alien leader, Admiral Nexus, leaned forward. His species had gray skin and large black eyes. Even if this is true, what can humans offer us? You have no territory, no resources, no military bases. We have something better, Beth replied. We have 3 years of inside knowledge about Council military strategies, defense systems, and secret technologies. We know how they think and how they fight. Beth activated another file on the datapad. It showed detailed maps of Council military installations, fleet positions, and supply routes, information that the Hegemony Coalition had been trying to gather for years. The third alien, a female called Commander Lyra, studied the data carefully. Her species looked similar to humans, but had silver hair and pale green skin. This intelligence is valuable, but what do you want in return? Safe passage through Coalition space for our refugee fleets, supplies and fuel for our ships, and when the time comes, an alliance against our common enemy. General Crix was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke. The Council has been our enemy. For 50 years. They destroyed 3 of our member worlds and enslaved millions of our people. If humans can help us defeat them, we will consider an alliance. Meanwhile, in the Nebula of Echoes, Admiral Kate Sullivan oversaw the construction of humanity's first hidden military base. The nebula was perfect for hiding because Council sensors could not penetrate the thick gas clouds and electrical storms. Admiral, the construction teams have finished the main command center, reported Colonel Steve Parker. We can now coordinate operations across 12 star systems from this location. Kate looked out at the massive construction project. Human engineers were building a space station using materials salvaged from the stellar graveyard and technology, learned from the ancient Vorthak civilization. It was not pretty, but it was functional. How many refugees have we settled in the outer systems? Kate asked. 800,000 civilians are now living on 17 different planets, Steve replied. They are building farms, factories, and schools. Some of the children are asking when they can go home to Earth. Kate felt sad when she heard about the children. Many had been born in space and had never seen their home world. They might never see Earth again if humanity lost this war. Dr. Nathan Brooks worked in his new laboratory inside the hidden base. He and his team had been studying Vorthak weapons technology for weeks. The ancient civilization had developed tools specifically designed to fight the Council's ancestors. Amy, I think I have figured out how their shield disruptor works, Nathan said to his assistant. The Vorthak weapon sends a resonance pulse that makes Council shields collapse from the inside. Amy looked at the weapon blueprint on the screen. Can we build these weapons with our current technology? We can build simpler versions. They will not be as powerful as the original Vorthak weapons, but they should still work against Council ships. Nathan had also been studying the historical records found in the ancient station. The information revealed something important about Council weaknesses. Amy, look at this. Every time the Council faced serious resistance, they made the same mistakes. They become overconfident and spread their forces too thin. Chief Engineer Maria Santos supervised the installation of Vorthak technology into human warships. The ancient devices were thousands of years old, but they still worked perfectly. Human ships were becoming more powerful every day. The cloaking device is working perfectly, Maria reported to Admiral Sullivan. Council sensors cannot detect our ships when the device is active. We can move through their territory without being seen. What about weapons? Kate asked. The shield disruptors are ready for testing. We have also improved our missile systems using Vorthak targeting computers. Our weapons are now much more accurate. Agent Kelly Price had been busy building a network of spies and informants throughout Council space. Her former contacts in Council intelligence were providing valuable information about enemy plans and troop movements. Admiral, I have important news, Kelly reported during the daily briefing. 3 more Council member species have withdrawn their support for the human extermination program. The Altair Federation, the Crystal Union, and the Peaceful Worlds Alliance are all refusing to help hunt our people. Kate was pleased to hear this news. Are they willing to help us actively? Not yet, but they are providing safe passage for our ships and sharing intelligence about Council military movements. Some are even selling us supplies secretly. Kelly had more information. The Council is having internal problems. Several member species are questioning the leadership's extreme actions. There is talk of a vote of no confidence against the current Council leaders. Captain Jake Morrison commanded the first group of upgraded human warships. His ship Liberty now had Vorthak cloaking technology, improved weapons, and stronger shields. He felt ready to take the fight to the Council. Sir, we have located a Council supply convoy, reported Lieutenant Sarah Martinez. 12 cargo ships, with minimal escort. They are carrying weapons and fuel to Council military bases. Jake studied the tactical display. The convoy had only 4 escort ships. His force had 8 warships with advanced technology. It would be humanity's first real attack against Council forces. All ships, activate cloaking devices, Jake ordered. We will attack from 3 directions simultaneously. Target the escort ships first, then capture the cargo vessels. The human ships became invisible and moved into attack position. The Council convoy had no idea they were being hunted. Lieutenant Commander Alex Turner coordinated similar attacks. Across Council territory, small groups of human ships were hitting supply lines, communication stations, and isolated military outposts. The attacks were carefully planned to avoid major battles while causing maximum damage to Council operations. The Council is calling these attacks terrorism, Alex reported to Admiral Sullivan. They are increasing security at all their facilities. Good, Kate replied. That means they are taking resources away from hunting our civilians to protect their military assets. Dr. Nathan Brooks made another important discovery while studying captured Council equipment from the supply raids. He found evidence that the Council was preparing for a major military operation. Admiral, the Council is massing a huge fleet near the Galactic core, Nathan reported. Intelligence suggests they are planning to attack the Hegemony Coalition within the next month. Kate realized this was humanity's opportunity. If the Council commits most of their forces to attacking the Coalition, their home systems will be vulnerable. The plan began to form in Kate's mind. While the Council was fighting the Coalition, humanity could strike at the Council's homeworlds and industrial centers. It was a dangerous strategy, but it might be their only chance to win. Commander Beth Taylor returned from her negotiations with the Hegemony Coalition with good news. The coalition agrees to a formal alliance. They will provide us with supplies, safe haven for our civilians, and military support when we attack Council territory. Kate smiled for the first time in months. Humanity was no longer alone in this fight. Colonel Steve Parker finished training the first group of human civilian volunteers. Farmers, teachers, and shopkeepers had become soldiers in humanity's war for survival. These people have never fought before, Steve told Kate, but they are angry about what the Council did to their families. They will fight hard when the time comes. Kate looked at the tactical displays showing human forces spread across the galaxy, hidden bases, upgraded warships, trained soldiers, and new allies. Humanity was ready to stop running and start fighting. Send word to all human commanders, Kate ordered. Phase 1 of our counterattack begins tomorrow. It is time to show the Council what happens when you betray humanity. The hunters were about to become the hunted. The final battle began when Council scouts discovered the human base in the Nebula of Echoes. Admiral Kate Sullivan watched the tactical display as hundreds of red dots appeared on the screen. The Council had sent their largest fleet ever assembled to destroy humanity once and for all. Admiral, we count 400 Council warships approaching our position, reported Commander James Lee. They have battleships, cruisers, and carrier vessels. This is their entire reserve fleet. Kate knew this moment would come. The Council could not allow humanity to build a permanent base in their territory, but she also knew this was exactly what humanity needed. While the Council focused all their attention on the Nebula, human strike teams would attack the Council's homeworlds. Send the evacuation signal to all civilian ships, Kate ordered. Begin Phase 2 of the operation immediately. Throughout the Nebula, human civilian ships activated their cloaking devices and began moving toward predetermined escape routes. The Vorthak technology made them invisible to Council sensors. While the Council fleet prepared to attack the military base, 200,000 human civilians slipped away into deep space. Captain Jake Morrison commanded the defense of the Nebula base from his upgraded ship Liberty. His small fleet of 30 warships faced impossible odds, but they were not planning to win a traditional battle. All ships remember the plan, Jake broadcast to his fleet. We hold them here for 6 hours. That gives our strike teams time to reach their targets. The Council fleet entered the Nebula in perfect formation. Their commander, Admiral Vrex, was confident this would be an easy victory. He had overwhelming numbers and superior firepower. Human ships detected at coordinate 77 Alpha, reported the Council tactical officer. They appear to be protecting some kind of space station. Admiral Vrex smiled with satisfaction. Finally, the annoying humans would be destroyed completely. All ships attack formation. Show no mercy. The Council ships fired their weapons expecting to destroy the human fleet quickly. But something strange happened. Their weapons hit the human ships but did not penetrate their shields. The Vorthak shield technology was thousands of years more advanced than anything the Council possessed. Jake watched as Council weapons bounced harmlessly off his ships. All ships return fire. Target their command vessels. Human ships fired their modified weapons at the Council fleet. The Vorthak shield disruptors worked perfectly. Council shields collapsed and their ships began taking serious damage. Admiral Vrex could not believe what he was seeing. How are human ships surviving our attacks? And how are their weapons penetrating our shields? The battle in the Nebula was fierce, but it was only a distraction. The real attack was happening 300 light-years away at the Council's main government center on Centauri Prime. Lieutenant Commander Alex Turner led a strike force of 50 human ships toward the heart of Council civilization. His ships were completely invisible thanks to Vorthak cloaking technology. The Council homeworld had no idea death was approaching. All ships maintained stealth mode, Alex broadcast on a tight beam communication channel. Wait for my signal before attacking. Alex's target was the Council's main government building where the leadership made all their decisions. If he could capture or kill the Council leaders, the war might end quickly. At the same time, Commander Beth Taylor led another strike force toward the Council's primary military shipyard. This facility produced most of the Council's warships. Destroying it would cripple their ability to build new fleets. "Beth, this is Alex," came the voice over the communication system. "My team is in position at the government center. Are you ready? Ready here, Beth replied. Strike Teams 3 and 4 are also in position at their targets. Across Council space, human attack groups had positioned themselves near critical facilities. Command centers, shipyards, communication hubs, and supply depots were all about to be hit simultaneously. Dr. Nathan Brooks had planned the coordinated attack from his command center in the hidden base. He had studied Council operations for months and identified their most vulnerable points. All strike teams, this is command. Nathan broadcast. Execute Operation Final Strike in 3, 2, 1, now. Human ships dropped their cloaking devices and attacked Council facilities across the galaxy. The surprise was total. Council defenders had no warning before human weapons began destroying their most important installations. On Centauri Prime, Alex Turner's ships appeared directly above the capital city. The Council government building was a massive structure that housed thousands of officials and bureaucrats. Target the communication arrays first, Alex ordered. Cut off their ability to coordinate a response. Human missiles struck the building's communication systems, destroying the Council's ability to send orders to their scattered fleets. Then, Alex's ships began attacking the building itself. At the military shipyard, Beth Taylor's ships destroyed the massive construction facilities where Council warships were built. Explosions lit up space as half-completed battleships were torn apart by human weapons. Strike Team 3 reporting, came a voice over the communication network. Council Intelligence Headquarters is destroyed. Enemy code-breaking capabilities eliminated. Strike Team 4 reporting. Main supply depot is burning. Council logistics network severely damaged. But the most important attack was happening at the Council's central computer facility. This building contained all the records of Council crimes against other species. Agent Kelly Price led a small team to capture this information intact. Kelly, status report. Alex called over the radio. We have secured the computer facility, Kelly replied. Beginning data download now. These records will prove the Council's guilt to the entire galaxy. Back in the Nebula of Echoes, Captain Jake Morrison continued his desperate defense against the Council fleet. His ships were outnumbered 10-1, but they were fighting with weapons the Council had never seen before. Captain, we have lost 8 ships, reported Lieutenant Sarah Martinez. But we have destroyed 37 Council vessels. Their fleet is beginning to retreat. Admiral Vrex could not understand how his massive fleet was losing to a handful of human ships. His weapons could not penetrate human shields, but human weapons cut through Council defenses like paper. All ships, withdraw to safe distance, Vrex ordered. We need to reassess the situation. But as the Council fleet pulled back, more human ships appeared. These were the upgraded vessels from other refugee groups, all armed with Vorthak technology. The Council fleet suddenly found itself surrounded. Admiral Kate Sullivan had timed the reinforcements perfectly. Council fleet, this is Admiral Sullivan, of the Human Defense Force. You are surrounded and outgunned. Surrender now and your crews will be spared. Admiral Vrex looked at his tactical display. His fleet was trapped inside the nebula by human ships that his weapons could not damage. For the first time in his career, he considered surrender. The coordinated attacks across Council space had been successful beyond all expectations. Within 6 hours, humanity had destroyed or captured most of the Council's critical infrastructure. The Council government was in chaos, their military was scattered, and their ability to wage war was broken. Dr. Nathan Brooks began broadcasting the captured Council records across the galaxy. The information showed thousands of years of genocide, slavery and conquest. Species throughout the galaxy learned the truth about their supposed protectors. This is the human resistance. Nathan's voice carried across space. These records prove that the Galactic Council has been murdering entire civilizations for millennia. They are not peacekeepers. They are genocidal conquerors who must be stopped. The reaction was immediate. Across Council space, member species began declaring independence. The Altair Federation, Crystal Union, and dozens of other groups formally withdrew from the Council and announced support for humanity. On Centauri Prime, the surviving Council leaders met in an emergency session. Their government was collapsing, their military was defeated, and their authority was being rejected across the galaxy. "We must negotiate with the humans," said Council Member Zorthak. "We have no choice." "Never," replied the High Chancellor. "We will fight to the last ship." But there were no ships left to fight with. The Council fleet in the nebula had surrendered rather than face total destruction. Human ships now controlled the space around the Council's home worlds. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of a captured Council dreadnought. The massive ship was now under human control, its Council crew in detention cells. Around him, other captured Council vessels were being secured by human boarding parties. "Jake, this is Admiral Sullivan," came the voice over the communication system. "Excellent work in the nebula. How many ships did we capture?" 47 Council warships are now under our control," Jake reported, including 2 battleships and Admiral Vrex's command ship. The war was essentially over. The Council's government had collapsed. Their military was destroyed or captured, and their authority was rejected by most of their former members. The species that had tried to exterminate humanity was now begging for mercy. Ambassador Lisa Carter, now serving as humanity's chief diplomat, met with the surrendering Council leaders on Centauri Prime. The once powerful aliens who had planned humanity's destruction now sat as prisoners awaiting judgment. The Huma,